That letter should be in your packets there. This represented, this special election represents a very tight timeline for the staff due to the Columbus Day holiday yesterday. We actually received the ballots from the printer, Fort Orange Press, who are located in upstate New York, on Saturday, October Saturday, October 12th. Excuse me, it's October, I'm getting 11th, excuse me. And yesterday morning on the holiday, at 10 a.m., which we did post last week was going to occur, we conducted the logic and accuracy testing for both the early voting and the election day voting equipment for November 4th. And so that holiday did present some challenges to the staff in order to get the logic and accuracy testing in time for delivery today for early voting to start tomorrow. And this is for the Providence City Council Ward 2 special election and the Central Falls School Board. Thankfully, everything was completed yesterday as scheduled, and the testing was successful. Now, this testing, as you know, is open to the public. One member of ES&S and 4 members of the Board of Election staff were involved in the testing. We tested 16 DS200s and 8 express vote machines in total. 2 DS200, 2 DS850s, which are our high-speed tabulators for mail ballots, were also part of this testing. The test deck for Providence consisted of 8 ballots. As you know, 7 of those ballots would be the traditional ballots, and 1 is from the express vote. These were each inserted into the S200. The test deck for the Central Falls special election consisted of 4 traditional ballots and 1 express vote card. 78 ballots were cast into the early voting DS200s, and 78 were cast into the early election day DS200s. 156 ballots were run through the 2 DS850 high-speed tabulators for a total of 312 ballots used in this test. We had 0 DS200s, which had to be replaced, so no DS200s. However, we did have 2 express vote machines, which were replaced during testing due to a printing error and a faulty screen. And actually, the team was here from ES&S recently and did complete repairs on all the previous machines that I had noted to you were pulled out due to testing. They did complete all that work on the DS200s in previous special elections or testing, and they are coming back to repair any express votes which are needing repair. So these 2 express votes will be added to those that are due for repair from that ES&S team. And again, there were minor issues. 1 express vote was a printing error, and the other one had a damaged or faulty screen that wouldn't power on. So as part of this testing, as you know, before we close each machine, when the testing is complete, at least 2 members of our staff is required to visually confirm that the totals on each machine matches the expected results on the results key, and that the machine has been successfully reset to 0. And of course, our election management system is also reset to 0, as reflected on those 3 reports which you have, which is typical for this election LNA testing certification. You have the results report, but then you also have a pre-0 report that we print prior to testing from the election management system. Then you also have the LNA testing results report, and then you will also have another report which indicates that it has been reset to 0. With that being said, I request that the board approve the logic and accuracy testing for the Providence Ward 2 special election and the Central Falls School Board special election to occur next month. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I just have one question, Miguel.
Of course.
You made this presentation many, many times, so I was always curious, how long does it take to do a testing?
It can run anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes, I would say, per machine.
And you had to do that for each machine, so it adds up to quite a bit of time.
Correct. And then everything has to be closed up, sealed, and then obviously prepped to be loaded onto vans for delivery.
Right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to certify the logic and accuracy testing for the voting equipment to be used in special election for Central Falls School Board and special Democrat primary for Providence City Council Ward 2?
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it. Agenda item number 2, the board may receive an update from the staff on the election training and certification program for local election officials. And I think Johanna and Kathy are joining us. Hello. Good afternoon. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. We would like to present an update on the election certification program. As you may recall, during the board meeting on October 3rd, 2023, the board voted on moving forward a statewide election official certification training program. Thank you to all board members for your support moving this initiative forward, as well as to Secretary Amori and to Nick Lima, who is present here. I was not at the board at the time, but I did watch the video, and I saw that Nick had a lot of input, so thanks so much to him. Concerns were expressed by BOE and SOS staff regarding the timeline as a presidential election was scheduled for for 2024. I came on board mid-June. We discussed it initially, then Executive Director Miguel Nunez, Kathy Placencia, and myself decided that we would postpone it until after the election, just because it was going to be impossible with all of the duties we had to carry out during the election. We resumed meeting after the election to develop program description and goals, the certification requirements, continuing education requirements, a course schedule, a quiz platform, which we have an MOU with the elections group for, feedback, how to collect feedback from attendees. And we came up with 13 courses, which was what you had expressed you wanted as part of the certification program. We did have, for example, today we have, a lot of times it's Kathy and I that present, local board members, Nick Lima has presented, Gianna from Woonsocket has presented, and we also have presenters come from across the country. So this morning we had TJ from the elections group, and he flew in from Florida to talk about emergency preparedness. We did also have, for this past one, we were supposed to have Eric Ullman from CISA. Unfortunately, Eric is part of the shutdown and was not able to participate. And we also had Adam Rhode from the Attorney General's office. We have had someone from Archives in the Secretary of State's office and also from Public Information to talk about open meetings. But Adam presented on the perspective of the Attorney General's office, what an agenda should look like. What happens if someone files a complaint against you, whereas the Secretary of State presented on how to file on their website. We also researched and reached out to several states to develop a comprehensive program, including Colorado, Washington, and Oregon, in addition to countless hours of online research, webinars, some with the elections group, et cetera. I'm happy to report that the program began in January of 2025. There are 13 courses, as I stated earlier. In order to retain certification, once they complete the 13 courses and successfully pass the quizzes, there will be 2 continuing education courses that they must take to maintain their certification once they're certified. You should have a copy of the course schedule and curriculum before you, as well as the program flyer describing the program, the certification requirements, and continuing education requirements. And then Kathy, if you want to read, Kathy will just read. You have these in your packet and it's on the screen, but if you just want to read what the goal of the program is.
It's the worst.
There you go.
Good afternoon. Thank you, members of the board. So the election training and certification, also known as ETAC program, is intended to certify the officials responsible for administering our state's safe, secure, and accurate elections. The certification program offers a series of training courses that provide uniformity in the administration of elections in Rhode Island. Designed to improve election officials' knowledge and build relationships with their peers, the certification program provides election officials with the skills to administer elections securely and safely while promoting a professional, skilled, and prepared workforce of election officials. The training curriculum helps develop new competencies that are essential to well-run elections. Additionally, the program helps preserve institutional knowledge and ensures that elections are conducted effectively by both new and experienced election officials. The certification program is offered free of cost to all election administrators in Rhode Island.
And each course offers 2 sessions on different dates and times on the identical material to provide Rhode Island's election officials, including board members, alternates, as well as BOC, BOE, and DOS staff, the opportunity to register for each course. After each course, attendees receive an online quiz link that they must successfully pass with a minimum score of 75. They are offered 3 attempts to pass the quiz. Should they not pass it after the 3rd attempt, they are required to retake the course during the next course cycle. As I mentioned earlier, presenters include BOE staff, DOS staff, BOC staff, and outside presenters, depending on the topic. Slide decks and, if needed, handouts are created for each course. These will be reused and updated as needed for future program cycles. The course content topics are evolutionary, as we rely on feedback from election officials, as well as ongoing changes in the administration of elections. As I mentioned earlier, Eric Ullman was supposed to present during this past session, but unfortunately was not able to. So we're hoping to have him in a future session. And we're also discussing the possibility of adding an ethics component to the course. As this morning, we had a pretty full, and you'll see in the pictures, that picture on the right was from this morning, as was the one from the left. We had over 70 attendees this morning, and I did poll the group asking how many of them have participated in the state's ethics course, and I think maybe not even 10 had participated. So we will likely be evolutioning the program to include ethics. Let's see. This course 7 had 2 sessions. One took place on October 8th, last Wednesday, and then one took place this morning. They all take place here in the boardroom. Block Island does participate remotely, as if they came to the board, they would have to spend a night here on the mainland, and that means incurred expenses as hotel, et cetera. So we do offer them the opportunity to participate remotely. Everyone else is in person. Even members who have retired since the program began have decided to continue the program. So the program has been received very well by the elections community. It was her decision. She retired from Barrington, and she asked if she could remain so that she could become certified. Thus far, we have had good participation and feedback from election officials who are participating in the certification program. Approximately 160 officials have started the program, and we are on target for a June 2025 graduation ceremony for our first group of Rhode Island's very own election official certification program. As Kathy mentioned, it's known as ETAC, the Election Training and Certification Program. Fun fact, because Rob Rock has to be involved in everything. After several discussions on what to name our program, Miguel, Kathy, and I went back and forth, and finally, Rob Rock came up with ETAC. So that's the name that has stuck. We do intend on having the course cycles they'll be offered every 2 years on off years. So I planned out for my purposes the next 10 cycles, which will start in January of 2025 and will commence in June of 2044. So it'll be ongoing. The classes will likely be smaller, as most people will be certified, and they'll just have to do continuing education classes. And if you have any questions, we are available. Thank you.
Thank you both. This is exciting. I had
It's exciting.
almost forgotten that we voted on this and the reasoning for it. I have a couple of questions, but I'll open it up to my colleagues first. No? Nothing.
All the questions I had, you answered in your statements. But thank you. This is great. Echo your sentiments. I know coming from the local board, this would have been really helpful. And I think it is helpful. You know, there was a lot of learning on the job and asking questions. I'm sure Miguel will get less phone calls now that this program is in place. But thank you for all your work. This is great.
Thank you.
Quick question. I know this is an industry-specific, obviously, credential. Does it need, so it's voluntary right now, right? It's not.
It is. We went back and forth as to whether or not to make it mandatory because it's new. We decided to make it voluntary,
out,
and even
yeah.
at it being voluntary, the response has been amazing.
Yeah.
And we're constantly being asked to add more. For
That's
example,
exciting.
today during the course, after the course, I was asked by 2 different board members, can we help them create a coup plan? Because the topic today was emergency preparedness. So they said, can we have another session? And I said, well, we're working on it. We're working on it. So the response has been amazing.
I love that. And remind me to what other states, obviously this is customized for Rhode Island, but do any other states do this certificate? Is it a best practice? Is it up in building momentum?
It's absolutely a best practice. We were only one of 6 states that did not have
Got it.
a certification program.
So now we do.
Now
We'll
we
have
do.
the best.
I think so.
And then in terms of, again, who's considered like who else can take this or would benefit from it? Do you have can poll workers, and forgive my ignorance, but
No, it's okay. As of now, not poll workers. We designed it so that it's actually election officials, meaning BOC staff, BOC board members, and BLC alternates.
it makes
And
sense.
the response we've gotten from members and alternates is amazing. We didn't think that many of them would participate, and it's amazing the amount that have participated.
I love that.
So that I
It's
can
on.
speak. There we
Yeah.
go. There we go.
Don't
And
touch it
so-
again.
No, that's it, it's on. But I think even so, when we were trying to develop this curriculum of topics to speak about, it was more, or that teaching, it was geared towards, election officials, who run elections on a day-to-day, on the day-to-day, and just talking about, speaking about what they do on a normal basis, where they can learn more, so that we can have this common, best practices for all municipalities. So, and obviously my experience with being a local for as long as I was, for 17 years, and the Board of Elections, and now at the Department of State, just kind of coming up with those roles and responsibilities and what they can get the most out of. So that's how we came up with this curriculum, and it's well worth it.
I remember when you started it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredibly exciting. Thank you both, and congratulations. And thank you, Nick, for your input as well.
I do just have a question. If after the class people have questions, is there some way to, like, an online discussion area or something?
Not an online discussion area. We allow for questions during the course, and if they have further questions, they can certainly email us.
Okay.
And
Is there-
we do have a feedback survey that we share with them as well, where they provide feedback, we review it, and then we make adjustments if we need to.
Is that information collated to be shared with the rest of the group if it's?
Not at this point. At this point, we're kind of just trying to keep our head above water.
Sure. You get a lot of people.
Perfectly
I can see
honest.
that.
And we've incorporated a lot of hands-on. So for example, that photo, that was an earlier course. And what we did is, and we still have it set up in the back, we created a mock polling place. It was one of the things we had, you mentioned poll workers, and we are modifying that training too. But one of the things that we hear is when we provide training, a lot of times there's a lot of lecturing going on. And most people don't learn just by lecturing, especially when it comes to elections. They want hands-on. So we created this mock polling place in the back. We purposely set some things up incorrectly, and we asked them to point out to us what was incorrect. And then we had a separate room that had a polling place set up in a correct manner, so that when they left here, they weren't leaving with the impression of the incorrect polling place. They were leaving with, this is the way it's supposed to be set up.
I love that.
And they all get handouts on the PowerPoints, on all the presentations, and they all have the ability to download the presentations from their quiz modules, so that they can, all the quizzes are developed based on the learned information or learned topics. So, and that's all part of the PowerPoint as well.
I love the passion of our elections community for something to be voluntary and to have that much of a turnout. And there's a lot. I mean, it goes on for a long time, but well worth the time. Obviously, they see that. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
We're just updates, so we don't need a vote. Okay. Thank you. Agenda item number 3, the board may discuss and vote to approve the calendar for the special election for Coventry Town Council Districts 4 and 5 to be held on February 3rd, 2026, with the special primary to be held on January 6th, 2026, if necessary.
Honorable members of the board, as you may know, Coventry Town Council seats in District 4 and 5 were recently vacated when Councilor Robert DeLellis and Council President Hillary Lima resigned recently. Mr. DeLellis, in fact, was just elected to office in a special election that we conducted on August 5th. On October 2nd, per the town charter, the Coventry Town Clerk called for a special election for both districts to be held on February 3rd of 2026, with the primary to be held on January 6th if necessary. Now, according to this calendar, which you have before you, declarations of candidacy would occur on November 28th and December 1st for these two seats. The voter registration deadline for that primary would be December 7th, and the deadline for voter registration for the general election would be on January 4th. Early voting for the primary, if necessary, would commence on Wednesday, December 17th, and would end on Monday, January 5th. For the special election, early voting would begin on Wednesday, January 14th, and end on Monday, February 2nd. If the board does not have any questions regarding this draft calendar, the staff does request approval for the Coventry Town Council's District 4 and 5 special primary to be held on January 6th, if necessary, and the special election to be held on February 3rd. And I'm happy to answer any questions from the board.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just have one question.
Yes, sir.
I assume the primary is nonpartisan seats, right? So if there's more than two candidates, you have to get it down to two. Is that the purpose of the primary?
Yes, it's a nonpartisan primary, correct. So if there are more than the two, then, and Marcy is here from the Coventry Board of Canvassers, but yes, it is nonpartisan, and that would be the reason for the primary.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions?
I move to approve the calendar for the special election of the Coventry Town Council, Districts 4 and 5, to be held February 3, 2026, with the special primary on January 6, 2026.
Thank you,
Second
Commissioner.
that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Agenda item number 4, the board may discuss and vote to approve the polling locations for Coventry Town Council Districts, District 4 and 5, special election to be held on February 3rd, 2026, and the special primary to be held on January 6th, 2026, if necessary.
Honorable members of the board, on October 2nd, the Coventry Board of Canvassers met to discuss and vote on their selection of polling places for the upcoming special election for Town Council Districts 4 and 5, which the board just previously, before this agenda item, did approve. The board voted unanimously to open one of the 3 precincts in each of those districts. That would be the Coventry Senior Center, which is located at 50 Wood Street, in District 4, in the Maple Root Baptist Church, which is located at 150 Harkney Road in District 5. Early voting would be conducted at the Coventry Town Hall Annex, as it has been in the past. The Board of Canvassers cited several reasons for their combination requests, such as the anticipated low turnout and the fact that schools will be open. Precinct 0615, the Coventry Senior Center, would have 5,359 voters assigned to it as part of this combination. And precinct 0616, which is the Maple Root Baptist Church, will have 5,627 voters assigned to it. Now, as we know, with how elections have been trending in the past, we know that about 40% of voters are going to vote either by mail or they will vote during the 20-day early voting period. So we expect only about 321 voters to present themselves at the senior center on election day. and 338 to show up to vote at the Maple Rule Baptist Church on Election Day. And that is assuming a 10% turnout, which we would expect in this election, given the past history of special elections in Coventry. 275 voters would be expected to vote during the 20-day early voting period, and about 165 would be anticipated to vote by mail. Now, these numbers on Election Day are well within capacity of these locations on Election Day. As far as those reasons that the board did cite for wanting to combine, the schools will be closed, will be in session on January 6th and on Election Day in February. And 2 of the 3 polling locations serving both precincts 0615 and 0616 are in schools. Hence the request to combine the locations into the Maple Rule Baptist Church and the Coventry Senior Center. The local board also agrees that the turnout would be low, and they included that in their request. Now, as is typical with any request for combination, we do ask the local board to place a sign at any of those locations. So even though those schools will be in session, we expect them to place a sign up at the doors to say that if you vote here, typically vote here, your polling place is located at such and such facility on Election Day. So this will direct voters to their correct polling place that's in operation on that day. And state law does require that combinations must be advertised in their local newspaper. Based on turnout being typically low for these special elections, as we've seen in these recent special elections in Coventry, these polling locations are centrally located. They are convenient for voters to reach. And the fact that schools will be open, the staff has asked that the board approve this combination request and polling place request for the Town Council District 4 and 5 special primaries and the special election. We ask that you approve them. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director.
And Madam Chair, I think in light of what Miguel said about the notice being required, you may want to make that as part of your vote on the notice that'll be published in a local paper within, I think it's within 7 and 21 days of
Correct.
the election date.
Correct.
Okay.
No less than 7 days and no more than 21 days.
Any
So
other
moved.
questions?
Nope.
You are moving
Yeah.
that,
Approve the polling location for Coventry Town Council, Districts 4 and 5, special election to be held February 3, 2026. The special primary to be held January 4, 2026, with the dates, with the notice published in a newspaper in that town, so no later than,
Within that timeframe of 7 days, the earliest 7 days before, and no later than 21 days
Yeah.
before the election.
with that, as we move.
thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a second? Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? You were turning your mic on to second.
Yeah,
Oh,
didn't get there.
beat you to it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Assuming no opposition or abstentions, motion carries. Agenda item number 5, I understand we are going to pause on or
Yes.
move to, do I have to read it if we're moving it?
Is this being passed, or is it going to be
Wait.
continued?
Continued, yes.
Yeah, why don't we just take, then, Madam Chair, I think a vote just to continue
Okay.
this to the next meeting?
That's
Or
not
just,
certain yet on when that
okay.
will be, but it will be at a future meeting.
Okay, so agenda item number 5 is the board may discuss and vote to approve the request by the Coventry Board of Canvassers for the mail ballot drop box to be moved from the Coventry Town Hall to the Coventry Town Annex. And per the director asking for a motion to continue this agenda item to a date yet to be determined.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? Motion passes. And hearing no other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And we are adjourned at 4:41 PM. Thanks, everyone.